Glastonbury Festival, its occult roots. In previous videos, I've examined some of the evidence and folklore surrounding Glastonbury, the site of the earliest church in England. There has always been a church there, as evidenced by St. Augustine, who wrote to Pope Gregory in 600 AD. In the western confines of Britain, there is a certain royal island of large extent surrounded by water, abounding in all the beauties of nature and necessities of life. In it the first neophytes of Catholic law, God beforehand acquainting them, found a church constructed by no human art, but by the hands of Christ himself, for the salvation of his people. The island which is referred to here is almost certainly Glastonbury, the Isle of Avalon. The neophytes would be Joseph and his companions, that is, Joseph of Arimathea. The church was constructed already when Joseph arrived, and the inference is that it was constructed by Jesus himself. Around 1130 AD, William of Malmesbury described Glastonbury's ancient brushwood church. He suggested that missionaries founded it in AD 166. William thought it could even date back to the time of Christ's apostles. The church at Glastonbury is the oldest of all those that I know of in England. In it are preserved the bodily remains of many saints, and there is no part of the church that is without the ashes of the blessed. The stone paved floor, the sides of the altar, the very altar itself above and within are filled with relics close packed. Deservedly indeed is the repository of so many saints, said to be a heavenly shrine on earth. Putting all the evidence and the stories together, we can see that there was originally a simple mud and wattle building at Glastonbury, which gradually got added to over the years. This building developed into what is known as the Old Church. William of Malmesbury, as we've seen, described it as having a paved floor and being filled with relics. In 1184, a fire destroyed the old church. Any final traces were lost when the crypt was dug into the Lady Chapel of Glastonbury Abbey around 1500 AD. So we have a situation where a simple mud and wattle hut was gradually added to and eventually became completely obliterated by a vast Catholic abbey, the ruins of which still stand. This to me is a picture of what happened to the church in Britain. It was started immediately from the time of Jesus by his followers, who had a simple faith in him. Over the centuries, it has become buried under the massive weight of religious institutions. Despite all this, Glastonbury is significant spiritually in these islands as the birthplace of the church. Not surprisingly, Satan has coveted it for his own counterfeit church. This brings us to the Glastonbury Festival. If you are not aware of it, Glastonbury Festival is a world-renowned 5-day music and performing arts festival held annually in Somerset, England, quite close to Glastonbury. The festival is one of the largest greenfield music festivals in the world, attracting over 200,000 attendees. Right from its beginnings, its roots have been demonic. There has always been a battle in this area between light and dark. For example, in the 7th century, the abbot of Glastonbury was a man known as St. Colin. Legend has it that he was invited by 2 demons to meet the king of the underworld on top of Glastonbury Tor. As they ascended, an awe-inspiring castle materialized before them. Its splendor was unmatched, adorned with resplendent troops, musicians, steeds, and maidens, befitting a majestic king's court. St. Colin was welcomed with honor to join the king at his table. However, he was not fooled and dispelled the whole illusion with holy water. This event was chronicled in the book Ed Colin, that is, the life of St. Colin. It epitomizes the supernatural and occult power deeply embedded in Glastonbury's legendary heritage. Today, this spiritual conflict continues. About 100 years ago, many occultists started moving to Glastonbury. One of them was a woman called Dion Fortune. You can look her up on Wikipedia if you're interested in her. She was basically a witch who claimed to be in touch with ascended masters, or what we might call supernatural beings. In 1924, she moved to Glastonbury and opened a guest house known as the Chalice Well. Some people see this as where the Glastonbury Festival really started. She set up a society known as the Fraternity of Inner Light, which claimed to receive messages from a cosmic entity. The society was linked to the Order of the Golden Dawn, which included the famous occultist Aleister Crowley in its membership. Since that time, Glastonbury has been a mecca for people who practice the occult. The Glastonbury Occult Conference is an annual event to this day. Occult societies basically always offer the same things that were offered to St. Colin, that is, all the pleasures of the world in return for allegiance to Satan. This is essentially what the festival offers today, although today people are not as discerning as St. Colin was to see that it is all an illusion. The first modern festival was held at Worthy Farm, Pilton, a few miles from Glastonbury. It was called the Pop, Blues and Folk Festival, hosted by a man called Michael Eavis on Saturday 19th of September 1970 and attended by 1,500 people. Despite being opposed by the local Christian community, it has grown to an annual festival attended by 200,000 people. Michael Eavis is himself an apostate Christian who is a Methodist lay preacher, despite saying that he is not really bothered about the existence of God. Despite being billed as a music festival, Glastonbury is essentially a pagan festival. It's full of occultic symbology and practices. If you want to know more about this, you can watch the YouTube video Glastonbury Witchcraft on the Hugo Talks channel. Essentially, many of the rituals that are performed at Glastonbury are invoking evil spirits, and many of the festival goers are involving themselves in things they don't fully understand. Even if people are getting involved in these things in ignorance, they are still overstepping the boundaries that God has set for us. Whenever we get involved in occult things, we open a door to allow Satan into our lives. The New Testament gives lists of sins we should not get involved in. I've done a video called Things That Prevent a Person from Entering the Kingdom of Heaven, if you want to examine this matter further. The Bible warns us not to deceive ourselves and get involved in these things. Rather, we should live holy lives and wait patiently for our Lord. I'll leave the last word to Anne Good, a villager who lived near the festival and who opposed it up until her death in 2004. She was part of a Channel 4 documentary made in 1992 called Showdown at Glastonbury, Good versus Eavis. So thank you for listening. If you found this video interesting, you can find more information at prophecy-workshop.com.
You must listen occasionally to somebody else. Please listen to me. Can I just lean against this? Because I'm really very, very tired. And you can lean against the other side and you look down there. Do you believe that Jesus is the Son of God?
Sure. I think we probably all are in some shape or form, but Jesus was one of the best examples of what God is trying to do on this earth, right?
So you're not a Christian?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know whether I'm not confirmed in the confirmed sense, but I'm fine. I mean, it's fine by me.
Do you believe that Jesus is the Son of God?
I'm not sure about that.